Welcome everybody to this episode of CallTalk Video Caramel. And we have a real treat for you today. This is Patrick Ebrahimian, who is going to be talking to us on the call center playbook and also on the average associate rate metric that he has developed, and he and his colleagues. So some exciting things. And just by way of background, Patrick is the Director of Transformation at UnitedLex, which is driving transformation throughout the legal ecosystem. He's a Six Sigma Master Black Belt and a Lean Master with over 18 years of experience. He's executed process improvement projects in the hospitality, financial, and manufacturing sectors, including call center environments. And he really believes that practitioners should look for innovative solutions to improve processes. And boy, he has really done that. We're going to hear about some of that today. So Patrick, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Bruce.
Okay, and we see your Larry Bird shirt there in the background.
And, huge Larry Bird fan.
Okay, great. And as I just said to you, I'm a New Englander, so, Celtics, whether they're old, new, or future, yep. are always going to be welcome to talk about. Well, let's start with the something you talked about on our Call Talk episode, and that had to do with the average associate rate, basically a metric that you guys came up with to pull together a lot of the elements that you were looking for in terms of, both rating and motivating the agents. So tell us about that, Patrick.
Yeah, I mean, we took a look at all the different phone states that an agent can spend their time in. And, when you take a look at the overall components, right, you have your talk time, you have your hold time, your conference transfer time, your ACD, ACW, non-ACD, ACW, your initiated aux time, and also other time. These are all different states that any phone agent can spend their time in. And we figured out if these are all the levers or these are all the X's that, contribute to the Y or the metric, why not take all those components divided by the number of calls that they take and understand what's the percentage of time that they spend in each of those states and the average number of seconds that they spend in each of those states. And we called it the average associate rate. And what I liked about that is it had a couple of other phone states that handle time did not include, which was the initiated aux and the other time. So you're touching every single aspect and you're able to coach to those components. And what we wanted to really drive to the managers was don't come there and coach to a number. Don't come there and coach to like a Y, but coach to the components or coach to the X's. Because if you can sit down with an agent and understand why their talk time is so high compared to the rest of the team, or why their hold time is so high compared to the rest of the team, or what if there's something wrong with their phone and they're actually falling into an other time and they're not getting calls coming in, workforce management would love to know that as well so they can fix that issue and that associate can then get better numbers. Mm-hmm. But overall, what we figured out was if you coach to the components, gradually ticking away at it little by little, small little bite-sized pieces will eventually bring the handle time down, mm-hmm. which is what a lot of call centers tend to measure now anyways.
Right. No, what I love about it is it's very analytical. It pulls things apart so that people can understand what the components are, instead of just being beaten over the head with get your average handle time down or something like that, which we oftentimes hear. Well, what are the components of that? How can I do that without losing anything in terms of customer satisfaction? How can I do that with, keeping quality high while, bringing down the total time? So the really good things there. Thank you very much for sharing that.
And you're coaching, Bruce, to the behaviors, right? And what we also tried to do was you can set parameters. I mean, we talked a little bit on the show about, some friendly competition. You can have even agents that, let's say the agent that has the best associate rate can, let's say, get a certain incentive or can get a paid bonus. Mm-hmm. And then you can then tier it and say, well, if this is the person that's leading the pack, maybe we have the top 10% that have the best associate rate within the center will get incentive. The middle 80%, let's say, will not get anything, but they'll strive to get there. And then the bottom 10% is now where we need to focus on and either coach up or coach out.
Right. Right. That's perfect. Yeah. And the coaching part too is a further analytical piece, because it says, what do we do about it?
Yep.
That's really good. That's where, management understanding and management prowess comes in, and you can really make a huge difference. That's where you can, show your stuff. Well, the other thing that you mentioned was what you were talking about with regard to call center playbook. And that was fascinating. Could you just roll out what you talked about on that, Patrick?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we realized when you're about to miss service level in a call center, you see a lot of different things happening. You see that everyone makes decisions independently. There's inconsistent decisions that are made, and reaction times are completely different. The communication is cut some way through where not everybody hears what's happening. And then we miss service level as a department. But how do you then understand where the workforce management, as soon as they see that we're going to miss service level, how do you take what they see and get that message across to everybody in the call center and have everybody react at the same time, making it a real-time management play? So what we did is we went through all the different components and we said, we need to have a playbook. We need to have certain behaviors, and we have to have a signal. So we went with the football concept and we said, we have reader boards in the call centers. And it was interesting because the reader boards would beep and it would beep and it would beep, and you'd see calls in queue. You'd see we were missing service level, but everybody was just mute to it, right? After a while, it's just, it's there. You just kind of tone it out. But we wanted to use the reader boards differently. So we got some agents involved. We got some supervisors, some team leads on a project team, and we came up with a plan to say, how do we set these plays and how do we get everybody to react the same way based off of what play that reader board is calling? And, we thought of the football concept, saying that the reader board is going to be our quarterback. If the quarterback is going to call play 2, then everybody needs to follow play 2. And we have to build a playbook for every different associate in that call center, whether it's your agent, whether it's a supervisor, a manager, a unit manager, your workforce analyst people, even your quality consultants, the ones that do the quality listening would be involved, because everybody needs to understand if it hits a certain play, we need to take advantage of it and be able to jump on it all at once. And, some of the behaviors that we had on there was, if you're floor walking, jump off the floor walk and get back on the phones. If you're a supervisor and, you're having a team huddle, cancel that team huddle, everybody get back on the phones, because all it takes is, 1 or 2 minutes. If everybody can jump on the phones, reduce those calls in queue, then our service level will improve or will sustain a higher service, to our clients.
Well, that's great. And you think about maybe even including some people outside the immediate center on the team. So if you have some recent, what I call alumni, right, who've graduated out of the center and have gone in an insurance company, for example, to maybe claims or something like that, but they started out in the call center. Maybe you could get them in too. They could be part of the playbook. So you can be very creative that way. Wow. These are great ideas. And thank you so much for sharing them, Patrick. And with that, I think we'll wrap up this Call Talk Video Caramel. And I know you're going to be going off to camping tomorrow with your kids and wife, and I just wish you a really good time. And we'll be in touch afterwards. Okay.
No, this was great. And again, I love this. I love that you have a show like this that actually gives back to the industry. So people that are, in our realm and what we do in call centers can actually listen and be able to, get some tips and some pointers and, even some guidance on how to be able to do their job better. So thank you for this.
Okay. No, we love it that you came on. You were number 151, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we've been doing this since 2009. And it seems that the industry finds real value in it. So when we can get people like you to come on, that's absolutely the case. So thanks again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.